We are saying all these future Universes Beyond sets, when they come out, they're going to be legal in every constructed format we offer.
The announcement we all half expected, and maybe even dreaded a little since the day we first heard about Universes Beyond. Magic is officially opening up the core game to other IPs, not as side products or alternate art tie-ins, but rather intertwined into the core game itself. At MagicCon Las Vegas, they announced that starting next year, 3 out of the 6 sets in Standard will be dedicated to outside IPs, with names lined up already like Spider-Man and Final Fantasy, and alongside these, 3 in-universe Magic sets. But as we've seen with 2024, these Magic sets are tenuous tie-ins to the game that's been with us for all these years at best, with each just Magic characters reskinned into existing tropes. Now I know every corner of the community is buzzing with their takes on this, each with some variation of a familiar complaint, and me throwing this video out there is like yelling into the void. But this was one of those announcements I had to talk about, as it's been weighing on my mind since I first heard about it. Fans of this channel know that I don't typically get swept up in announcements or let news like this pull me in. I'm typically just here to talk about flavor, lore, and the color pie. But this one felt too close to home not to share. It's that old line, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, but really that's exactly it. Because like I said, my investment is in those interesting places, stories, and characters that Magic provides. Don't get me wrong, the game itself is an amazing thing. I've spent countless hours playing it and will continue to do so. And these new sets won't strip away from what makes the game of Magic so special. They'll likely play well, and I don't doubt the designs will be clever and carefully crafted. But this feels like one more step away from what first drew me into this game. As someone who loves not just the game itself, but the worlds and stories around it, I can't help but feel a little melancholy as of late. Like a part of the spark that used to drive my excitement has dimmed.
And this is the first of our Marvel booster releases. Not for laugh.
I first picked up a Magic card when I was only 10 or 11. And it wasn't the text on the card and the rules or how to play that made me fall in love with it, but rather the worlds and the art that made me a longtime fan. I got swept up looking over every card, putting together decks with the scraps I could find, holding on to them like treasures and windows into another place. I drifted away from the game in my late teens and early 20s, but it was lore channels on YouTube that brought me back in, and eventually inspired me to make this very channel. To say I'm invested in Magic for what Magic can only do is an understatement. But now that the future of this game will become how it can use its rules and designs to bring existing worlds to life instead of its own, I felt, well, sad if I'm being honest. I've always been drawn to Magic for its world building, its ability to transport us to new planes, full of mystery, beauty, and things to discover. Bloomburrow gave me that feeling again, even if it was brief and the rest of the sets this year were uninspired. But now we are moving headlong into a world where Magic, the Magic we fell in love with, will take more and more of a back seat. To be clear, we are getting this integration because of how well Universes Beyond sells. So if we find ourselves in a world where this does really well, then this integration could continue to take over Magic. The thing is, if I wanted Spider-Man or Final Fantasy, I would go straight to their own sources, where they belong, where they're at their best, and hell, I do. I love those IPs. But Magic was the one place where I could go to explore its worlds, its characters, its legends. Now, I feel a pull towards nostalgia, a longing for the way things were, back even before we even started down this path. Before the introduction of Universes Beyond, before each set was Magic characters playing dress-up or pop culture references ad nauseum. I myself was one of those people pushing back against the Doomsayers those years back, but slowly and surely Wizards of the Coast took another step, then another, and then another, as if this was always their plan all along, the path they intended to take, and they just wanted to ease us in slowly.
Now, Aaron, real quick, if anyone was paying attention, last year when we talked about the 2025 schedule, we had Return to Lorwyn on there. What happened to that one?
Yeah, so we felt like this was enough sets. Return to Lorwyn is next up, so it's the first set that will be coming out in 2026. We've not forgotten about Lorwyn.
In a time when everything feels like a sequel, a remake, shared universes, and generative AI, I can't shake the feeling that we're losing something essential. Something irreplaceable is being slowly chipped away in all of our media. Maybe you could say that this announcement was just a small, inevitable part of a bigger trend, a drop in a much bigger ocean. But to me, this is Magic handing over the keys of its own incredible universe in the place of never-ending hunger that is consumerism. Sure, it'll sell well. These models are tried and true. But I worry about what happens when the novelty fades, and we're left with only the fragments of what once was. When we finally turn back to the worlds of Magic itself, who will still be there to care? And what will be left to care about? Thanks for listening, and to be clear, I still love Magic and I will continue to make videos about this game, but I've been unable to shake this feeling after the announcement, and I really wanted to talk about it before we moved on to anything else this year. And with that, friends, I will catch you in someone else's multiverse. Bye.